Hey, happy Monday, everyone, if there is such a thing. I want to let you know I came across something I really feel is a shift in the right direction when it comes to reverse mortgage advertising. Finance of America has a new 120-second TV commercial called Drum Set, and I believe it really shows a marked different approach to reverse mortgage advertising. And I found it on iSpot TV. They catalog new commercials, but they also help measure brand and business impact of television and streaming ads from concept to airing to conversion. So what I'd like to do is just to invite you to join me to watch this together. And then what we'll do is come back and just kind of analyze it and talk a little bit about it. So here we go.
Why is Mr. Stevens beating the daylights out of his drum set? Next to Mrs. Stevens, who's going even harder. Because the Stevens found a better way to keep rocking out while they move their parents in. Thanks to one of the reverse mortgage options from Finance of America, they got a second mortgage without adding a new monthly payment and unlocked their home equity a better way. And they used the extra cash.
So you want to note that this is not your grandparents' HECM. This is a second. It's a reverse mortgage that sits in a second lien position. Ideal product, by the way, for the couple we're seeing that Gen X, my age. Many of them refinanced into very low interest rates during the pandemic and post-pandemic. So just something I want to note there.
To do more, like soundproof their band room and build an extension on their house, so their parents can move in and have their own peaceful space. And so they can do it all. And keep rocking it all day and all night. For over 20 years, Finance of America has helped people access a portion of their home equity a better way. And now there's a second mortgage specifically designed for homeowners 55 and up.
There it is, second.
It's a loan that doesn't impact your primary mortgage. But unlike a typical home equity loan or line of credit, it doesn't require a monthly mortgage payment or payments by a certain date. Instead, you have the flexibility to make payments if and when you choose. And loan amounts go up to $1 million. The trade-off for not making payments is that the loan balance accrues interest over time. Call 800-770-6406 or go to financeofamerica.com to learn how the product works. It's definitely a better way to keep doing more of what you and your family love. It's no wonder they earned an A+ from the Better Business Bureau. If you're 55 and up, our team can help you find the product that best suits you. Call 800-770-6406 or go to financeofamerica.com to get your free estimate. With Finance of America's range of reverse mortgage solutions, you can tap into the equity of your home your way. Because there's a better way with FOA, Finance of America.
Pretty snazzy. So I think this is really a move that kind of pushes the needle away from the typical needs-based borrower, right? And one of the first things that I noticed is that the individuals in the commercial were not elderly, nor were they frail. This is more of a sandwich generation type couple, someone my age, the Gen X, who may be actually supporting both their adult children and their aging parents. So they had an intergenerational housing arrangement where they're able to have their parents right there with them, aging in place. And so I think this is a move in the right direction. They're showing the reverse mortgage as a flexible financial tool, and I do believe that the ability to get a second, so you can keep that amazing sweet first mortgage position at 3% or 4%. You don't want to get rid of that, but you can get money and not have to make payments with the second. So the other thing is it's missing what? A celebrity spokesperson. Not that there's anything inherently wrong with that. Finance of America continues to run their Tom Selleck ads in the wake of their acquisition of AAG, or American Advisors Group. But this ad is speaking to a younger cohort of viewers, and it really fits nicely. I think this ad wouldn't seem out of place where maybe a celebrity spokesperson ad would when it's mixed in with other financial product commercials for investments or mortgages. So I think this is really a strategic shift more toward the mainstream. It's very contemporary and engaging in its style. And it's also a really stark difference from the traditional, really information-heavy format that we see, not with just Finance of America, but with previous reverse mortgage ads. So let me know what you think about this ad in the comment section below and its appeal and their marketing. We'd love to hear from you, but wanted to bring this to your attention. Personally, I think they did a really good job on this ad spot. Well, this should be an interesting segment when I get some feedback from you, but reverse mortgages do a lot of things, but thankfully creating income is not one of them. So today I want to unpack a really critical distinction that's still overlooked to this day, and that is the difference between increasing cash flow versus a reverse mortgage creating income, or does it? Now, think for a moment about a financial balance sheet, right? And at the top, you have two columns, and what would you typically list at the top of each column? Assets and liabilities, right? So you would have the home's present value listed on the left under the asset column, just as you would have the outstanding mortgage balance listed, yes, in the right column as a liability. But what about the money that one receives from their employment, pension, or investment dividends? That's income. Now, it doesn't necessarily show up directly in a balance sheet, but it does show up indirectly because it's typically placed into a bank or savings account or money market account if they have some leftover discretionary income at the end of a given time period. And it increases the value of that particular depository account. Now, when someone takes out a reverse mortgage, they're obviously not getting a paycheck. We know that. They're not earning dividends. But what they're doing is they're tapping into the equity they already know, something all of you as reverse mortgage professionals are well familiar with. And they're converting part of their home's available value into cash. Now, that's cash flow, and it's increasing liquidity, but it is never taxable income, at least during the lifetime of the loan. And that distinction isn't really just semantic, it's very consequential, because when you're speaking with a financial professional or to clients that are really concerned about tax liabilities and Social Security or being able to qualify for Medicaid, you got to be super careful about using the word income. So many seniors and those older homeowners that you're meeting with, they're afraid of one thing. Besides, am I going to be able to leave the house to the kids? That's something else completely different. They're concerned about doing anything that could disrupt their financial situation. So last thing they want is to really, rattle the boat. And so as financial professionals, if they hear you say income, that the reverse mortgage provides income, they could potentially question your competence and be reluctant to refer their clients, because that's something that a reverse mortgage professional is well familiar with. So we want to be very specific in our language, because if we say, hey, the reverse mortgage provides money each month to the homeowner, they may instinctively think, oh, more income, great, I got to pay more taxes. That's why we as reverse mortgage professionals should be very crystal clear and consistent, because we're generating loan proceeds if there's money left over after paying off the mortgage, or if there is no mortgage balance to pay off. So whether they have a line of credit, monthly disbursement, or a lump sum, those are loan advances, and as such, they're not counted as income for federal tax purposes. But even better, as we know, reverse mortgages can boost monthly cash flow without any payment, because you're simply eliminating the monthly required mortgage payments. So when we clarify that reverse mortgages do not create income, we can get rid of that tax fear and also improve understanding and set the stage for better outcomes. I'd like to hear your 2 cents on this, but I personally believe this is very, very important. We don't want to sabotage our efforts when we're communicating with homeowners, nor especially do we want to sabotage our communications and building partnerships with financial professionals. So let us know in the comment section your thoughts. Well, look where you can find yourself when you're digging around in the grottos of the internet. I came across this very interesting column. I wanted to bring it to your attention from Spring Nature Link. And it's an academic research paper that explores reverse mortgages in the Italian population. I think we should all just take a field trip and go do some research ourselves and maybe take in the countryside and a little Italian food. But seriously, there are some really interesting points in this particular academic paper, and I just want to kind of distill those for you. So it begins with the abstract, and this is ringing very true for us here in America. It says, the elderly's financial status is affected by stochastic lifespan and states of health. And those are the challenges. It says the growth of life expectancy in industrialized countries, such as Italy and the U.S., the inadequacy of pension systems, and here in the U.S., I'd say the inadequacy of personal retirement savings, 401ks, and IRAs, and medical costs are shedding light on the need to provide adequate solutions for retirees, whose wealth, by the way, is mostly tied up in their home, right? And it's illiquid. So it says the reverse mortgage allows the older homeowner to borrow money using their home as an asset for the loan while maintaining the right to remain in their house, and the debt's repaid by the heirs when the borrower passes away. So this is just how it begins, but I want to get into some of the meat of this because I tell you, you can scroll through here. It gets really technical and nerdy. There's a bunch of calculations, but I'm just going to summarize this for you. If you want to read this in your own time, I'm going to provide a link as well. But let's just talk about some of the takeaways for this. One is that in Italy, 77% of the families at the end of 2022 lived in a home that they owned, and a third of those also owned another property. However, the number of elderly homeowners with insufficient pension income or retirement income are known as being house rich and cash poor, and that number, they say in the report, is alarming. And it also notes the rapid growth of reverse mortgages here in the U.S. We might say not so rapid recently, but comparatively speaking, yes. Australia and in the U.K. In the U.K., the reverse mortgage is known as the equity release. In Australia, shockingly, it's known as the reverse mortgage scheme. Sounds kind of shady when they put it that way in the U.S., but that's what they call it there nonetheless. But this academic paper notes that potential borrowers in Italy are very hesitant to take out the reverse mortgage because they're countries that share a similar cultural background. And these are the countries of Mediterranean Europe where property is viewed as hereditary, and thus it must be passed to the heirs at all costs. Now, despite that, there are new reverse mortgage lenders, that are entering the European market and gaining the interest of homeowners there. And the issue of homeowner reluctance, they say, is attributable to two critical factors. And first is an entrenched culture, which we just mentioned, the hereditary issue of inheritance. And then second, homeowner uncertainty about their lifespan and future health. And that's something I don't hear discussed very often here in the U.S., and I thought that's very important. They don't know how long they're going to live. Is their health going to be good or bad in old age? I think most just assume it's going to be not as good as when you were younger, but those are two things that are really concerning them. They don't know how long they're going to live, and they don't know what their health is going to be like. And not unlike the U.S., reverse mortgages are struggling to develop among older Italian homeowners, not just because of the desire to leave the home to the heirs, but because of poor financial literacy. Does that sound familiar? And the report says it's fundamental to furnish financial guidance to the elderly in order to help them understand the possibilities of this product and providing for their retirement and their future. And the problem of information ambiguity, in addition to financial illiteracy, is due to the product's complexity. So think about that. They state this really well. The challenge of information ambiguity due to the loan's complexity. And we can simplify the reverse mortgage, but in many ways, it is indeed a complex loan if you look at it objectively. So they're looking at a number of factors, I think, that overlay with the challenge of reverse mortgage adoption here in the U.S. information ambiguity with a complex loan product, which we have here in the U.S., the uncertainty of lifespan and what their future health conditions will be and what that will cost them, and also poor financial literacy, which I think these are all great takeaways from the Italian study that I think can apply to us Americanos, as they call us over there. So wanted to bring this to your attention. Let me know what you think in the comments section below.